Okay, so the next wrist tape job that we're going to do, now that you have the basic wrist tape job down, is one to either prevent extension of the wrist or one to prevent flexion. For today's video, we'll just teach you how to prevent extension of the wrist, but recognizing that you would do the opposite if you wanted to prevent flexion. You might be asking, well, why am I only showing extension? Because most often in athletic training, the motion that we want to limit is going to be wrist extension. So just like with any good tape job, we're going to start with anchors. And you guys might be saying, you're not using pre-wrap. I am not, because what we know about this tape job is it slips a lot. So the best way to prevent slipping is, number one, to use your spray on your patient. Spray both sides of the wrist and the hand, and then to tape directly to the skin. So with that said, we're going to essentially create two anchors proximally, and we want those anchors to start about 2 finger widths above that ulnar styloid on the patient. So anchor point number 1, proximally, anchor point number 2, proximally, and then we have to create a distal anchor point. So what I'm gonna have the patient do is point into my stomach to prevent hand movement. And what I want to do is go ahead and make a fist for me really quick, patient. We want that anchor point to be just above those knuckles on the hand. So go ahead and extend again right here. So what we'll do is something that looks just like this. We'll lay that down. We'll have our patient flip over into a supinated position, and we'll close off that anchor point. And these are important because what we're getting ready to create is another check rein like we did in the Achilles tendon and like we did in the turf toe tape job. So I'm going to measure my strips, and then again, just like I taught you in the turf toe tape job, you're going to tear off 3 strips that are equal in size or length. And then if the goal is to prevent extension, then what I'm going to do is have my patient flex just a little bit. And I'm going to put that anchor, the first part of that check rein distally, and pull it proximally. And as you can tell, as I'm pulling her into wrist flexion. The next strip is going to start on the thumb side. And again, I'm going to pull that patient into wrist flexion. And then that last strip, again, is going to start on the pinky side and pull up. Now you might be asking, does it matter which strip we start with? The answer is yes and no. The only strip that matters is the central strip. The 2 outer strips, doesn't matter which strip you start with, as long as you create, go ahead and hold that up, the check rein or the central tough part of the tape job. Okay. So now that we have that done, the next thing that we would do to close off our tape job again would be proximally to create those 2 anchor strips. And then finish off with our distal anchor strip. Gonna go ahead and have that patient turn their wrist over and go ahead and try to extend that wrist for me. So see how we've limited that range of motion in the wrist, okay? Now, if of course we wanted to make that a neutral tape job, of course what we would do is create 3 more strips. And we would place those strips on the dorsal side of the hand. And we would close off one last time. Turn over. And finish with your last 2 proximal strips. And voila, try to flex, try to extend. Okay, so we're keeping that wrist in as much of a neutral position as is possible. Thank you.